We are holy. We are holy. Our hearts are ready to receive. We are holy. We are holy. We are holy. So let's just sit with that thought for a moment. We are holy. Holy, holy, holy. There is nothing to be fixed, nothing broken. We are created in the image of the one love, the one light. And as creations of that one creator, that's all we can be. That's our DNA, our spiritual blueprint. I am holy. And I came across this message. Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. That is where you came from and where you'll return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up, often. You didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and then to rise again into remembering. But unconditional love, stop telling that story. Love, in truth, doesn't need any adjectives. It doesn't require modifiers. It doesn't require the condition of perfection. It only asks that you show up and do your best, that you stay present and feel fully, that you shine and fly and laugh and cry and hurt and heal and fail and get back up and play and work and love and live and die as you. It's enough. It's plenty. So let's just hold that for a moment. We are gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous. We stay present, we shine, we play, we live, and experience only love in all its forms. I am an expression of divine love. I am an expression of divine love. We give thanks for this knowing, for our deepening understanding of what it means to be that expression in our lives, in our world, in ourselves. And so for this we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. I am Thank you for the music this morning, and Tina for her guiding us through this experience. As Tina mentioned, I only come here once a year in person, and I just try to meet as many people and talk to as many people as I can. This is a place that's very dear to my heart. And you have some very hardworking and committed people working on your behalf, on the behalf of this spiritual community that I've just spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday with, and just delighted in your new board and your spiritual leadership team. There are good things happening here. So last year, my partner and I, Joseph, traveled extensively. We returned to India for the 5th time. We lived there. We lived in Thailand, Malaysia, Sri Lanka. And we were away from home for about 5 months. So does that mean we never felt at home? The question that arose from that was, well, what is home? And as does happen, and perhaps with you, one question leads to another, right? And so I got led down many, many pathways. What is home? What is that? And so today I thought I'd just share some of those pathways with you while I was pondering home. We all leave our homes and come back. We do this every day. We've all done that already today, haven't we? Because we're here. And at some point, I was thinking, unless you live here in this room, we will be returning back home. So how do you feel when you enter your house? Is it welcoming? Is it comfortable? Does it bring a smile to your face? What parts of your home do you like the best? What's important to you? Well, I think back when I had children at home, and I thought, well, a very young child, when they come into the house, they usually head for their toys, right? The little ones, they go and start playing and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, well, I guess home to them means play, means toys. A teenager comes into the house, where do they go? The fridge. I can remember doing this myself. I'd open the door and look. I didn't even necessarily get anything out. I just really wanted to, check out what's there, right? Have a good long look. And I saw my children doing the same thing, and I thought, well, maybe it's the teenage insatiable drive for food. Anybody gets in trouble for opening the fridge door and, Bob, I can tell, drinking out of the milk carton and hoping that nobody, you don't get caught, hoping that nobody was watching. So maybe home to teens means food. And as adults, where do we head when we come home? We might turn on the kettle for a cup of tea, flop down in an easy chair. Perhaps home is a place to stop and rest and be comfortable. And many of us, I've noticed, are looking at our homes in a very different light these days. We are looking ahead and seeing we have a lot of stuff, which requires a lot of time and energy to look after. So when Joseph and I rented out our house for 5 months, we had to clear, virtually everything out of our home to make room for the renters. And so we had the opportunity, kind of like moving, that we got to handle every object in our home. And as we were packing, we asked ourselves a question. This is really an opportunity. Is this adding, contributing to our happiness or not? Does this feel like a burden or a blessing? There were many, many things that we had in our home that we just got so used to having around, we didn't even see them anymore, really. I had things in our home that when I looked at, my heart just sank. because they were broken and I didn't know how to fix it. Or there were books that I knew I would never read or never finish. Or items that were given to me that I knew I was never going to use. Or, this is my big one, partially finished craft projects that didn't excite me any longer. So perhaps you have things like this in your home. What I have in our house right now, every single thing, when I look at it, I smile. It brings me, I'm thinking either joy or peace. That's kind of like what my things mean to me. So I'm not saying to clear out everything out of your house. I have lots of stuff. I'm not living like a monk, even though I've lived in many monasteries. I have artwork, I have books, I have crafting things, I have feathers and crystals and rocks, but everywhere I look, it's beautiful to me. Is this the environment? Isn't this the environment that we want to live and sleep and eat and be in? So I invite you to have a look around your house and pass on what doesn't bring a smile to your face any longer. And by the way, about, 5 or 6 years ago, I released the phrase to get rid of. I hear it all the time. I said it all the time. Oh, I really got to get rid of some of these books. I really need to get rid of some of these extra blankets or sheets or something like that, right? It's when you think of that word, when you feel that word, it's violent, actually. It's like so final. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm releasing my things so that somebody else, usually to a thrift shop or a women's shelter or something like that, so that somebody else can be blessed by them. And when my children were young and I was a single mom working 4 part-time jobs, that was our place. And when I found a nice towel or some curtains or a nice baking dish or something, I was so happy that someone didn't have this stuck in the back of their cupboard any longer and had brought it to the thrift shop to be a blessing to us and my family. So as we're doing this releasing, actually sometimes we think the releasing comes first, we first want to set our sights on what it is we want to create. This is one of our principles. Even though we sometimes start with what's wrong, what we really want to plant our feet in is what's right. So we start with a feeling or a picture of what we want to experience in our home, and then we identify what doesn't fit that picture. So it's so important to have a home atmosphere that we enjoy because we do spend a good part of the day there, right? So that's our physical home. We have 2 more kinds of homes. Ourselves, what lives in here, our thoughts, our feelings, our body, and then there is our spiritual home. But let's start with this one. So let's begin with our thoughts. What kind of thoughts do I want to have? So I thought about this. I thought really my aim is to have a mind that my thoughts are aligned with my beliefs and to have them be productive and lead me to good decisions. I aim to have a clear mind, and I ask myself, is there anything that I can release so that what I am aiming for has more room to live? So how can we do that? I'm just going to park that question, come back to it. Next is our emotions. Again, think about what you want those to feel like. Peaceful, happy. What kind of emotions do you enjoy feeling? Pardon? Joy. Yeah, joy. What else? It's really good to give this some thought because then you know what it is that you're trying to create in your life and bring into your life. Optimistic, peaceful, calm, all of these kinds of things. And perhaps we experience emotions that are, unpleasant. And so we try to dampen them with food or sugar or shopping or too much TV. We all have our ways of doing that. But these thoughts will arise again, surely. And what we want to be able to do is to identify them calmly and, show them the door. So what will help us do that? And we'll park that question. So then we have these wonderful bodies, don't we? This is one of our homes, and actually a really, really important one because, as far as I know, we can't be on this planet without this physical body. And it houses all the rest. It's one of the most important things that we have. So how do we treat this dwelling place? Do we give it the fuel it needs? Do we move it in beneficial ways? Do we give it time to rest and time to sleep, which are two different things? When Joseph and I were traveling in these countries, we noticed that people do not sit around a lot. We had to chuckle with the word furniture because, what we can picture is that somebody went to a carpenter and said, okay, I'm going to have some Westerners in my homestay, or I'm opening up a restaurant and they like to sit in these things called chairs. So build something, like it has a back, it has a seat, it has 4 legs. And the carpenter pounds together these pieces of wood and ends up with this shape. You can guess they are not comfortable. They are hard, and we don't stay in them very long. Not at all ergonomic. In the places that we stayed at, not a single couch or soft chair. Most of the population sits on the floor. So because we've been to India 5 times before, we knew this. And so every couple months before we were ready to leave on our trip, we'd be sitting on our couch going, remember how this feels. Because we're not going to feel this for 5 months. So we live with people who walk everywhere, right? Very few cars. They carry food home daily from the market. They're living in a society that's beautifully neighborhood-centric. So the body is moving all the time. Our body also needs rest every day, in addition to sleep. Sometimes we just need to stop. Maybe sitting in an easy chair and reading, or lying on the couch and listening to some music, or taking a leisurely stroll around the block. I've been watching a YouTube channel from this young Dutch woman, and I think it's called like Simple Life Zen, or Life Simple Zen, or something like that. And she starts off with just reminding people that the Netherlands is rated number 5 on the happiness scale in the world. And she figures that so she said, these are the 5 things that we do. And I think it might have even been number 1. It's called niksen. So niks means taking time. Niksa means nothing. And the en means, it's a verb. So it's nothing-ing. You're doing nothing with no purpose, with no point, with no outcome or anything, just doing niksa. So I'm incorporating that into my life. Our body is the home of our spirit, so are we taking care of it? This is where the train of thought led me, that if we give our body what it needs, our minds work better, our emotions are more peaceful and enjoyable. So we have these 2 homes, and we are dependent on having them, and then there is our spiritual home. So some people commented when Joseph and I were traveling that we were homeless, nomads, basically. And I could see how, we could be, it could look like that. We traveled 30,000 kilometers, lived in 5 different countries, several different cultures, 11 different homestays. Did we feel like we were at home? We were always at home. Because no matter where our physical selves are, our spiritual home is where? Right here. This is a place we all have. We don't have to look for it. We don't have to go anywhere for it. We carry it with us. So what resides in this physical home? In this inner home, sorry, not the physical home, our inner home, all good, all the time. This is the indwelling place of the divine, the I am, all that is, source energy, divine mind, God, spirit, whatever name you want to give it. And what does our spiritual home require? For us to be attentive to it, to dive in and seek out what it is. So we're talking about infinity here. So there's no end to diving in and discovering what our inner spiritual home looks like and feels like and has to offer us. So my invitation is to get in there and explore and discover and visit it often, so that the path to our inner self becomes one that we recognize and that we can easily access and follow. The path that is, we want to make it familiar, right? So that it's there, we don't even have to think about it, even in the most distressing moments. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people, and they're sharing some difficult or even devastating event in their lives, and they end with, I don't know what I would have done without the knowledge that I am a spiritual being that is more powerful than any circumstance or person. This is what sustains me, calms me, strengthens me. Not the earthly things, which come and go like the wind, but the spiritual principles that are unalterable and omnipresent. So visit your spiritual home often. This is our power place. This is the source of everything that we need to have fulfilling, happy, harmonious lives. We can feel at home no matter where we are, no matter what is going on, no matter who we're with. We are home. Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, says this. I'll close with her thoughts. You are eternally one with your source and creator. So it's just a matter of getting still, peaceful, calm, serene, with your thoughts away from all the outer activities and opening the way for the mighty and abundant flow of spirit that vitalizes, invigorates, builds up, and renews every place in mind, heart, soul, and body. Thank you.